Hello and welcome to episode 33 with the Emotion Code Divas. Today we have a very special participant, and Helena is going to talk about our rooster friend for today. But the topic is about misbehaving. So, it can be kids, it can even be adults, right? It can be humans or animals, right? And when there's lots of different reasons why people and animals misbehave. So I'm going to talk about that and just share some ideas and thoughts around that. I am Dana J. Smithers, a certified emotion code practitioner. I'm also a law of attraction coach, and I'm just in the process of actually learning animal Reiki. So I've taken some Reiki and I'm signed up for an animal Reiki course, and I've been doing out with animals, out with horses last weekend, and but a rooster I have not done. So this will be interesting. But whatever type of healing we're doing, Helena will talk about her skill sets as well. But whether it's emotion code or Reiki, it's all based on quantum physics, which is just all about energy. And energy is either positive or negative, and it can be measured. And the way that energy shows up for us can often be in our behavior. It's the emotions. We act out, we misbehave. Well, animals do it too. So I am one of the emotion code divas, and I would love Helena Jenikin, who's just come back from a very important conference in Las Vegas. So tell us about yourself, Helena.
Good morning, Dana. I am Helena Jenikin. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist as well as a certified emotion code practitioner. I specialize in helping men and women release excess weight. I help them to stop smoking. I am the stopsmokinglady.com, as well as releasing any fears and phobias, anxieties, especially around dental fears. And yes, I just came back from a very important conference for me. It was a hypnosis or hypnotherapy conference, 3 days, 8 hours a day of lectures from international presenters. And at the conference, I met a very good friend of mine, Catherine, and she was telling me about her angry, cranky rooster. And I know that Catherine is, she loves animals and animals love her. So this is quite out of the norm. So I offered to work on her rooster. Her rooster is in Las Vegas, in a very nice air conditioned building, very, very well taken care of. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right then. So we're just going to get started as we like to do every show, because we do have some first-time viewers, and of course you can find all of the Emotion Code Diva shows on our YouTube channels, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But in the meantime, a little bit about the emotion code. Helena and I are both trained by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And you can buy this book if you like. It's called the Emotion Code Divas. It is not the Emotion Code Divas book. It is the Emotion Code. So everything we're talking about is in this book. He's got a lot of case studies. He's got a lot of information about how to do the emotion code. He's got the trapped emotion listed, as well as just some information about how we went from hundreds and hundreds of emotions and narrowed it down to 60 of the most common ones. And so, Helena, when we're actually, you're going to work on the rooster today. What's the rooster's name?
Jonesy.
Jonesy, very nice name. Okay, I like it. All right. And so the first thing that you had to do was ask for permission. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I needed the owner's permission to work on her animal. And I have that.
And in order to do that, you also need to become what is called a proxy.
That's
so how will you do that then?
So because I can't be there in Las Vegas and I have her permission to work on her animal, I will become the proxy. And that means that I can ask the rooster's subconscious mind directly questions, yes or no questions.
Yeah. And, we work with animals just the same way that we work with humans, or if we're working with children, then someone might be a surrogate, but we can work directly with the animal. We just need to do, as Helena said, ask permission. So I understand the severity of this one on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably over 10. this
It's
time.
it's over 10. It is a 10. Yeah, which is highly unusual for her for any of her animals. Um, yeah, a lot of stray animals come to seek her out. Any animals that need rescuing
Yeah.
or recovery from injury. Everything from deer, like baby deer, have come to her. Birds. So we know
Well,
her energy is good.
isn't that lovely? Okay. And
Yeah.
then what you're going to do today is what we call muscle testing. So this is how we are able to find out which are the most prominent trapped emotions, because we're only going to be doing, one quick session. It sounds like this rooster would probably need at least 3 sessions to work with and just get it going and get down a bit deeper as to what's really going on. So the muscle testing part of that, how are you going to do that?
So I have an agreement with my subconscious mind that when I link these two fingers together like this and interlink the circles, and I think of the word yes, it links together. And when I think of the word no, it just pulls apart. So that will be a yes, and that's a no.
Yeah, okay. And so my subconscious agreement with my muscle testing is a little bit different. Index and thumb together, my middle and index finger, and that's a yes, and that's a no. So we can do it fairly quickly, getting yes or no answers, because with the emotion code and muscle testing, those are the only answers we're going to get. It's a yes or a no. So we're always very specific about the question that we're asking. And then once we go through the chart, which we may as well look at that right now, just hold this one up. So there are 60 emotions. So Helena is going to ask her subconscious on behalf of Jonesy, are they in column A, or are they in column B? Are they in an even row or an odd row? And once she gets the answer, then she'll take a look at those 5 trapped emotions in that particular section, and she'll just go through each one and get a yes or no answer. And then she's going to ask more yes and no answers. Does this trapped emotion belong to Jonesy, or was it inherited? Right? Because just like people, animals can inherit trapped emotions as well. So Helena will be asking those questions. And the way that we release these is by what we call demagnetizing the emotion. And we use magnets.
That's right. These are my magnets that I'm using today, and they're very strong hematite magnets. Magnets intensify my intention and also cancel out negative energy that pops out of the physical system into the energetic system. And because in Chinese medicine they were so smart, 2,000 years ago or more, they discovered and mapped out different energy meridians in the body. And they found that the governing meridian, the main one, begins here underneath the nose and goes all the way down to the tailbone. So you'll see me swiping like this, canceling the energy out.
Yeah, so you can use any kind of magnets. I've got a set of these. I got a few other magnets that I use as well. If you happen to be in a place where I've had this happen for me. I've been out in the car and I didn't bring any magnets with me. They get a little heavy in your purse sometimes, but you can just use your hand, because your hand does act as a magnet, and you just demagnetize that emotion. Again, everything is setting that intention. You're connecting with source, and you're connecting to a higher energy power and asking that those emotions be released. So everything is about intention, whether you're working with a human or an animal. And the last thing that we practitioners have to be sure of is that we are hydrated. Yeah. So
I'm going to take a sip.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then. Helena, I'm just going to say hello to one of our loyal followers, Natasha Paula Samuel from Rumford, Essex. She's a regular viewer of ours. We always love to have her watching. And our phones often show a little bit different. Do you see anybody else we can give a shout out to today?
You know, it's really interesting. My phone is showing something completely different. Let me see. What can I find?
All right.
I'm not finding the show, but I know we're live.
Okay, we are live. All right, let's just go ahead and jump in here then. So Helena is just going to go ahead and work silently on such a beautiful rooster,
Very
Jonesy.
beautiful.
Really lovely. And actually, with animal Reiki, we just need a picture of to do distant animal Reiki is what I like to do. And doesn't he look like he fire engine red angry, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Although my favorite color is red, but I associate that with passion. But as you said, he takes care of the other hand of the hens, right? So that's basically his job. And then you said something else happened recently for
Yeah,
little Jonesy.
just really recently, Jonesy actually, Catherine was cooing, as she says, with the other chickens, and Jonesy came up out of nowhere and pecked her
Oh,
on her wrist and hit a vein, and needed to go. She needed to go to the hospital and get a tetanus shot, and it was extremely serious.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So let's see if we can help Jonesy out here because, we really don't want that to happen or for any animal to be like that. So you go ahead and do that, Helene, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the energy and what happens and how the emotion code does work or energy or any energy healing technique that you're using. So everything, you've heard this, right? Everything is energy. So, um, this comes from the scientific evidence of based on quantum physics, right? So with quantum physics, experiments have been done. You can find these on YouTube. You can find them in books or whatever, where energy has actually been measured. And when it's been measured, they're also measuring the emotions that go along with that energy. So whether someone's doing emotion code and we're releasing those trapped emotions, or as I said earlier, I'm looking into and starting to do animal Reiki, it doesn't matter what the healing modality is. We are all setting an intention to release negative energy. All of us. And in emotion code case, it's trapped emotions that we're releasing. So with Reiki, while we're wanting to calm and have everything peaceful, we still are releasing negative emotions so that the positive emotions can come in and take over for that time period that we're working with them. And hopefully that follows them throughout the day and the week. And, people do, just like animals need to get check-ins with emotion code as well. So everything is energy. So when children are misbehaving, or even adults, right, we can ask them what's wrong. However, when they tell us what's wrong, it's not necessarily what's really wrong, right? It could be up here, they're talking at this level, but once we get down to emotions and start to find out what's going on, then we can, whether doing emotion code or just having a conversation, we can work with that person to release some of that energy, because once it becomes acknowledged, it kind of actually starts to dissipate. So when young children are misbehaving, let's say it's I've seen a little bit of this in my 5 and 2-year-old grandchildren, or grandchildren, as I like to call them, because I'm a grandma. That what happens is they can be doing it for attention. They can be doing it because they are upset about something. So you can, have them do a timeout, ask them what's wrong, and you can get information. And then doing emotion code, which I do. And when as emotion code practitioner, when we're working with children, what we'll do is actually have to ask the parents' permission. Can we work with the child? And then if they're there, they can become the surrogate, and we can then proceed with the emotion code session of healing. With animals, they can act out in certain ways, just as Jonesy the rooster has acted out here. And Helena was saying earlier in the show that there was also another rooster had died recently, and we know what emotions are trapped. And when we talk about grieving, so Helena and I did a special episode on grieving, which you can have a view of and just see what emotions come up there. So, Jonesy's got a lot of things going on. He's acting out. He's not being very nice, but again, he is the rooster, so he has to take care of the hens. And even with, with dogs, if they think they are the leader, they can also be misbehaving in the street. They can try and attack other dogs because they think they need to protect the owner. Whereas it's really the owner's responsibility to let them know that they're the leader, they're the protector, and the dog is there, and they are the alpha male, and the dog is to follow their lead. So there's lots of shows on that. One of my favorite people to watch for that is Cesar Millan. He's an animal trainer and therapist, and does a lot of work with really a lot of misbehaving dogs. And recently I've been watching a lot of YouTube programs with animal communicators and people that have that gift of actually talking with the animal. And when we're doing emotion code, we're not talking with the animal, we are working directly through their subconscious because we are not animal communicators, although that's something that I am working towards, but I'm not there yet. But when someone is working with an animal, that animal can tell them what's going on. And I watched an episode, 2 episodes, one on a very famous black leopard called Diablo. You can check that out in YouTube, and how a famous interspecies communicator, Anna Brettenbacher, worked with this leopard called Diablo, and eventually they changed his name to Spirit and found out that he'd been abused. And that's why most animals misbehave, is they're either they've been abused or they don't understand their role in a relationship. So there's a lot of training that has to go on, but when someone's communicating with an animal, they're finding out what's causing this behavior. There's also another YouTube video that I watched with a goose that was in animal sanctuary as well, but this goose kept biting everybody. And so there was an animal communicator, and she also did Reiki and dealt with the goose, and the goose just said that everybody keeps throwing rocks at it and hitting it. So it's misbehaving, right? It's acting out. It's showing that it's angry in the same way that this rooster Jones is doing that. So emotion code can definitely help with that. It helps with people. It helps calm people down. But it really is most important that we release these trapped emotions, because, as children from 0 to 7, we're really we're being imprinted. We're learning values. We're learning about relationships. We're taking in everything that's going on in the home. We've started to get teachers, and we're with other children as well. So any emotions that get trapped that are negative, unless they are released, they're going to be part of a human's life as they grow, and even well into their 60s or 70s or whatever. All of that can go on where they are just still acting out and really don't know why. So this is why Helena and I are so interested in the emotion code and wanting to remove those trapped emotions. Now, for myself, as a law of attraction practitioner, I am able to work with people in their mindset and look at their beliefs and remove some of those limiting beliefs. But we also have to be telling a new story, right? We have to get rid of that old story. So that is why I like to do law of attraction mindset shifting, as well as the emotion code when I'm working with clients, because it kind of gives us a nice double whammy there, that we're looking at, all right, in the human scene, what can we do? What behaviors can we change? Well, with an animal, it's a little bit harder. With a human, we can also model behavior that we want to see in the home or any relationship, but it's certainly important that we find out what are the underlying causes when someone is misbehaving, whether it's a person or an animal. And it looks like Helena is finished, and I'm so curious to find out what was trapped under there. Yeah, good. Just happy to have Suzanne Darnell with us today. And while you're doing that, Helena, I was just mentioning Cesar Millan. He's world famous for dealing with misbehaving animals. He has a beautiful sanctuary in California, but there's a lot of videos you can watch on working with dogs. But I haven't seen one with roosters, but I might just check that out. So let's find out. What did you release from Jonesy? What's going on with that beautiful rooster?
Yeah, so the very first emotion that came up that I was able to release was shock, and then low self-esteem. And I remember when Catherine said the incident happened with Jonesy attacking her, was she was cooing with the other hens, and what I got was, he's supposed to be looking after the hens.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that sense as well. Like that's his job.
Yeah. And so the very next emotion was failure, which then makes sense. And he's not doing his job. And anxiety, taken for granted. And then indecision. And indecision was inherited from his father. And then I looked for some hidden emotions, hopelessness, and then hopelessness. And then I just asked if Jonesy was feeling jealous, and I asked, does Jonesy love Catherine? And it's yes, he's actually jealous. So he really does want the attention, but I think he's conflicted.
Yeah.
Because he feels that he's doing the rooster. He's supposed to be the rooster looking after these hens, but he wants to look after her too. I think that's sort of what my sense is. And so then there was frustration, and finally fear. Isn't it always the basis of everything is either a positive or negative, love or fear? So I was able to get it down to a 2 at this moment, and it just said that's enough for right now.
Yeah.
Jonesy's just got to process, let some things go, and I know that he's well watered, well fed, taken care of,
and he's loved.
He is absolutely unconditionally loved.
Yeah.
And he just needs to realize that he is the rooster, and the hens want the rooster.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, we'll look forward to hearing what Catherine has to say about that moving forward with him. That'd be really nice. I am going to put a few updates of some people that we've been working on, Helena, in the show. I'm going to put those in on the Emotion Code Divas page. Had a few nice testimonials of people that are, things have changed. And also for me, this one dog as well that I've been working on. She just keeps improving and improving, and for every once in a while she just pops into my consciousness, so I'll just do a quick session on her. And she's really, this is a very abused dog that has really come around, and she's trusting and she's loving, and I just love it. I love it when I get a unexpected testimonial for somebody about work that we've done, right? And it's really nice when people do post if we're working on them as well, post in our Emotion Code Divas page as well. So that's just great.
I recently had a client who I was working with through a hypnotic weight loss program, doing very, very well on that. Her doctor is actually so impressed with her results after a couple of months that he's taking her off her high blood pressure medicine. She reached out to me and said, that hypnosis works really good, but I really like the emotion code.
And I've heard that too. Yeah. Even when I've done business coaching with women in my 1 hour session, I do 45 on business and then 15 emotion code, just to get them moving forward. And the comment is always first about, oh, that emotion code was just great. So, they go hand in hand, right? If you find a healing modality that works for you and you get the results you want, then just keep focusing on that, because there's an infinite number of healing modalities out there that people can tap into and find out what works best for them. So we'll look forward to hearing about Joneses. So next week episode is fear of going to school. So this might be, Helena, someone's younger child, middle-aged, teenager, whatever, but it could also be somebody, an adult, that's starting in back to school, whatever. So we will be looking for a viewer to work with. So if you're interested, please let us know, either PM myself, Dana Smithers, or Helena, and we'll connect with you and ask a few questions about that. So Helena, how can people get a hold of you?
They can reach me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com/emotion-code. I also have a Facebook page, Flourish Hypnosis, as well as YouTube channels, Flourish Hypnosis and Helena Jen.
Exactly. And you can reach me at empoweredwomeninbusiness.com/emotion-code. My YouTube channel is Empowered Women in Business, and I've got quite a few different playlists there, but all of the up-to-date Emotion Code Diva shows. So please go ahead, share. We'd love to have more people watching us. Again, we're a fairly new show, but we're very excited about this and just super happy that we can do this for people and share it, and people get to have an understanding of what the emotion code is and see how it can help them in their life wherever they're stuck, or relationship, finances, weight loss. And Helena, aren't you famous for something else? I believe you also have another website.
I do. I have thestopsmokinglady.com. I do help people stop smoking in one hypnosis session, and with all my hypnosis sessions now, I add in the emotion code.
Yeah, that's terrific. All right, we'll see you next week, same time, every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So have yourselves an awesome day, and thanks so much for watching, and please share.